You're on.
All right, good morning. Monday, September 11th, 2023. Opening the Selectmen's meeting. I'd like everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This being September 11th, I would assure everyone that we have not forgotten the incidents at the World Trade Center. And we won't forgive. All right, moving right along. We have public input? None. Our codes officer is going to give us a building report. I see my highway agent right there.
Morning.
Lay it on us, big fella.
So we have 91 building permits, 28 new homes. I've done 538 inspections. And on the back of the townhouse, there's a couple shingles that slid down, so I called Doug and he's gonna go fix them.
There you go.
So other than that, everything looks pretty good.
Not finding any issues with your inspections?
No, they've all been pretty good.
All right.
Once in a while, I got one house out on Hidden Valley Drive, which is a private road. They keep washing mud into the road, and the neighbor across the street keeps calling me. And I keep going there and say, put some silk fence and hay bales and straw wall and stuff up, and he gets it and it's set for a little while. And it happens again. So, but the state's involved in it now. So.
All right. Any questions for Jack, Bob?
No.
I'm on vacation the end of the month in the first week of October, so maybe the 29th, be back on the 10th, the 9th is a holiday, so.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Is there any, is there any coverage in,
I take care of it, 'cause I
emergency
bring my
building
phone.
inspections?
I take my phone, so people call me, I do emails and WhatsApp and all kinds of stuff, so I'm actually in touch with people all the time, so it works.
All right. I wouldn't do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got Jim Menar for our highway report.
Morning.
Yeah, morning. Yeah.
Okay, since last time we met, we've had to cut some trees and limbs are hanging to the road. It's been a big growing year for these trees and limbs this year with all the rain, so we've got it bigger than normal. We had replaced some boards on Union Wharf and Melbourne Wharf. We replaced 3 culverts on Tufton Road Neck and 1 catch basin, and that's in preparation for the new pavement. And we've had to cold patch several potholes around town. There's still more to go, you know, still have the right weather for it. We had to add a larger amount of gravel to Welland Road, and we're hoping that will make the steep section a bit easier in the winter time. We had trouble with that one area, so we built it up, put about a dozen loads in 150-foot area. We replaced 1 culvert on Shirley Way, and we've done some ditching as well. And we're going to start paving within a week or so, so that's coming right up.
Good.
The tan truck is back at the shop for repair already.
The new one?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. The exhaust brake wouldn't work on it. The first time I went and picked up gravel with it, I was coming back and it wouldn't work. Came down to the end of Ledge Hill Road, and I'm looking back in my mirror and the brakes are smoking. I'm like, I can't do this. So we haven't been using it to haul gravel, unfortunately. They came and picked it up, hoping to see it back either today or tomorrow. I have to assume it's a simple fix, but
New
unfortunately.
vehicles, got some bugs, I'm sure.
Yeah. They swore that it worked when they dropped it off, and I talked to them, I'm like, well, there may be something simple, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're doing, they walked me through it, and they're like, yeah, you're doing everything right, it's lighting up like it's supposed to, it says it's on, but it doesn't work, so.
Okay.
Alright.
Now, you've done some ditching on Shirley Way. So we have an email from a resident that wants to know if you're going to continue that ditching. And her email says, you've done ditch work between 4 and 6 Shirley Way, and she thanks you. Just wondering if you're going to continue it in front of my house, so our swale handles the runoff again.
What number is she?
4, according to.
Okay, I just saw it was done between 4 and 6,
Yes.
but she's number 4,
Yes.
okay.
We also have an inquiry about ditches on Durgan Road, the backside, Dows Hill, that area.
Mhm.
Do you have any plans to get at that this year? Or soon? Or would you take a ride and have a look at
We'll
it?
take a look at it.
That would be
And,
good. Maybe it's simple, maybe it isn't, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, there's always continuous ditching around town.
Yes.
It's a
No doubt.
non-stop battle.
The resident actually came in person, didn't appear to be panicked in any way, so very kind.
Okay.
Obviously, winter's coming.
Yep.
Money's always an issue,
Yep. And
All right.
this year was gonna be extremely
but
tough.
we're gonna work on that as selectmen. How are you looking in any respect as far as plowing goes this year? You got staffing issues, do you have equipment issues, what's going on, and what can we do to help you with that, if anything?
Well, I have one of the guys that has been plowing for me for years who's getting his CDL and will be helping out, so I think we're fine.
Oh, good.
Have another new guy starting shortly that's got plowing experience and trucking experience and heavy equipment experience, so I think we're in good shape.
Well, it's up to us to find money when it's necessary, but I'm glad that you can fulfill the obligation, so to speak. It can be tough. Trying to get employees at any time now is rough. But yeah, you handle those concerns and we'll figure out how we're gonna pay for
Yeah, no, I think we're still in good shape. I mean, we still have eight employees, so
it. Good.
I don't think we're in bad shape.
All right. Excellent. Good to hear. You have a question or two?
Have you made contact with Robert Orston, Chair of the Budget Committee?
So yes, we actually, I should say, Trish emailed back, and that's fine. We'll do the meeting. Do you want to meet at our place, I guess?
Yeah, we're trying to, this is a new chairman of the Budget Committee, and we're trying to make sure that everybody's on board, everybody's transparent, everybody gives as much information as possible, and it's very important that emails be responded to.
Okay. Yeah, I know, again,
You gotta communicate.
I don't do emails. I prefer that it be text.
Yeah.
If you could text me, that works much better than emails. Yep. I don't get them on my phone. I have to wait till they show up on my desk.
Okay. All right. So text.
Yes.
Text is the preferred method.
Yep, yeah, Kami always texts me as well, you know, it's like, it's.
But you have been in contact with him and
Yes,
information-
Trish, I said, Trish to email back, so I'm assuming that got done.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all set up.
What's that?
It is all set up.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Good. Thank you very much.
All right. Anything else for you?
No, not for me.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Oh,
What
Audrey?
about the transfer station? Just taking a look to see if that
Oh,
pothole can be done. That.
sinkhole?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the sinkhole.
The drain.
Right.
Yes, we can do that. I think that would be easy enough to do. We'll just cut it open. I was actually thinking, we'll cut it open, see what we have exactly,
Yep.
and maybe we just have a concrete truck come down there and we just fill it with concrete. That should solve the problem permanently.
Okay.
There's gotta be some kind of leakage in between somewhere, so.
Well, something settled underneath it or whatever.
I feel like we patched it once before and a leak came back, so.
Okay. Well, trust your judgment to do what's best.
We'll take a look at it, that's all we can do. We'll know more when we cut it open,
All right.
see what's in there.
Good.
Doctor.
great.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
I wasn't even aware of that, to be honest with you. I probably had heard about it, but in my advanced age.
I've got a question with Jim, that's all I said.
Oh,
Couple
Great.
driveway permits, for me?
What's that?
Couple driveway permits. for me?
Yes,
Okay,
I forgot to bring my notebook today, and that's why I'm at this.
okay.
My phone's been ringing like crazy all morning, and it's been hectic already. We had catch basin cleaners that showed up late, and we got the wrong list. We got an old list, so I'm trying to get the new list out to them. Crazy morning, it's Monday.
Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will.
Yep.
All right.
Jim, who do I contact if you are out?
Don't you have a list already?
I don't know who any of you people are now
Okay,
that they're
I'll
all
give you a list, Chris.
new.
Yep. I'll give you a
Okay.
list
Awesome.
with numbers and stuff.
Perfect.
Yep. Okay.
Excellent. Thanks.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. John Garcia is not coming. We're not due till 10:30 for our next appointment. So we can go through signature file, action items, and this kind of stuff,
In minutes?
and minutes. Let's do minutes. Usually we do that first, but I wanted to get the road agent back on the road as soon as possible. Nothing stood out to me. I'm not a punctuation person.
Well, I haven't had a chance to read them.
We'll let Bob scan those.
I'll move that we accept the minutes of August 28th as written.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have a non-public. And again, that seemed quite accurate to me.
I'll move that we accept the minutes, the non-public minutes of 8/28/23.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. Now, move along. Could be rather short, wouldn't it? Except we have to wait. In the signature file, we have an intent to cut for tax map 38-3-2. Everything seems to be in order. I'd make a motion that we accept this, sign this intent to cut.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Date today is September 11th. Following that, we have a right of burial. To be purchased by Ms. Elaine Gibson. Section G, 2 lots, 53 and 54. Make a motion that we sign.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to action items. We have a copy of section 673:12 titled Filling Vacancies in Membership. And I don't know who sent this to us, but it does say that if a vacancy is for an ex officio member, the chairperson may only designate the person who has been appointed to serve as an alternative for the ex officio member. And then we have a note down below that says the Board of Selectmen should appoint an alternate to Bob, or a Selectmen's representative to the Planning Board, who will attend the Planning Board meetings when Bob is absent. At the meeting, the Planning Board Chair will then designate the alternate to serve as the ex officio member, Board of Selectmen representative, in Bob's absence. If Bob is unable to attend a Planning Board meeting, he should contact the alternate to attend the Planning Board meeting in his place. At the meeting, the Planning Board Chair will designate the alternate Board of Selectmen representative as a temporary replacement for Bob. That makes good sense. I think we should wait for Chip,
I agree.
and then he'll be along at the next meeting. So I would ask Cammy to keep this in the action item file for us, so that we don't forget. That'd be great. And then we have an email from Mr. Charlie Smith, who's the town administrator in Molten Borough. And basically what this is talking about is what was once a coalition of communities. I had actually attended one of those meetings in Molten Borough, and one of our selectmen was a representative, and the idea was to put like towns together, possible creation of bargaining power for electricity and things like that. It kind of just faded away as far as I could see. So this is short, and I'll read it. Dear colleagues, an objective for my Board of Selectmen going into our next fiscal year is for us to research into potential collaborations with our neighboring communities. Our thoughts are to have regional quarterly meetings with our neighbors to see if we can work on public services, cost savings, and/or share our community interests. Therefore, I ask if you can forward this request to your board and let me know if there might be an interest in holding these meetings. Appreciate it, and do not hesitate to ask if you have any questions. Once again, I think Chip should be here. So we'll have Cammy just leave both of these in the signature file. I mean, excuse me, the action items or what, yes. Again, I had attended a meeting in Molten Borough at one of these. Similar, very similar, I thought. I don't know what happened to it. It seemed like it just faded away. I don't know if there was not enough interest or what happened, but hey, if we could get together and save some money, it's always good. Correspondence, we have the library report. We have a Board of Adjustment notification that they're going to be having a meeting for the Stonewall Realty Trust, number 39, Tuftonboro Neck Road. We also have a request for a variance for a shed on Governor Wentworth Highway. Neither one of these actually meets the setback requirements, but they're having a hearing on these on September 20th, 7 p.m. here, if anyone's interested in attending. We have an email from Chief Thompson to me, but obviously it goes to the selectmen. He has a picture and a notification of the part that they needed for the truck, which was on back order. But it sounds like Lakes Region Fire Apparatus may have found the part through Diesel Dash. Still don't have a price yet on the total repair cost because they don't know where the metal or aluminum parts are coming from. Once the parts that are needed to be replaced that could trap any metal pieces, they think they can give us a better idea. And after talking with Lakes Region Fire Apparatus, they feel that by the time our fire trucks get back to the station, the turbos would have spooled down enough that that's enough of a cool down period that it shouldn't be an issue. They do say that if the truck was used all day for trucking, then it should sit an ideal for 5 minutes to spool down and cool down the turbocharger. And then he comments again that they've never had problems until the first engine failure with engine 4, and that was 18 years worth without issues. So he apologized that he didn't have that information available at the meeting. I wouldn't have expected him to.
No,
You want to look at that?
no, I'm good.
All right. That settles that. We now have about an hour between appointments.
I have some-
Audrey Fraser, our town administrator, would like to talk to you.
Good. Jackie's here today, right?
No.
No.
Jackie is actually out with COVID, or should be out with COVID, I should say.
All right.
So it may be a while before she returns.
Okay.
I put together a suggested budget schedule that I think the budget committee is gonna go over tomorrow night. And I want to see if those groupings are logical to you.
right away, the due dates on this first block. The block looks fine. This is generally how we give them the quick ones early on. But when it comes to any of these gifts and donations, all that, we have one request from 68 Hours of Hunger.
Yep,
And that's the only one we've received.
no, we have about 4 of them.
Oh, we do now.
I've been
Well,
collecting
thank
them.
you so much.
Yeah,
Very good.
and I'll reach out to ones I don't have.
All right. Generally, these come to the selectmen first,
Okay,
and then we present them to the budget committee, which would mean that until we see them, we won't give it to them tomorrow night.
no,
Now,
so
schedule-
to explain this would be people getting things to me. You would get a package for the 25th and see everything together, and then they would go to the budget committee on the 3rd.
My comment was for the public, not for us.
Oh,
Just so they know.
All
Yes,
right.
and now you've even clarified it better. Great.
okay.
Yeah. Look at this.
I'm not gonna be here, but 10:31 is a Tuesday. Oh, so that doesn't matter.
No, that's to me.
That's to you.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah.
Never mind.
I took the budget committee's schedule and then I backed into a week or 2 prior for the board to look at, and then a week before that for me.
Okay. No, I think it looks good.
Yeah, it all makes sense the way you've grouped it.
Yep. Yep, staggered nicely. You don't have the big ones.
All at once,
All at once,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a tough one on the budget committee. That makes for a long night.
Yes.
Well, that looks great.
They being the budget committee, have additional meetings that I would anticipate that that would be for warrants that the board's gonna bring forward, any
Yes.
financial warrants.
Yeah, which aren't gonna come till near the end.
Do you provide the budget committee with non-financial warrants as well?
They look at it, but they can't vote on it.
Right,
But we let them know that there is something
Okay.
happening.
all right.
Yeah, they're aware, which is not bad.
Do you normally plan certain meetings, like a Monday morning meeting that you're going to designate to warrant articles?
Yeah, unless we feel that we need a workshop.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, the budget committee's gonna look at this tomorrow night.
Right. And that's
Okay, you look
Yeah,
up
yeah.
RSA 32 for me?
yeah, it's here.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I will bring the folder with me tomorrow night for him.
Yes.
Okay. My report is really short and sweet. It covers the month of August, and basically it was training. And Kathy's been terrific about jumping in when I need something still. Cammie and I think we've done a great job at streamlining the accounts payable, entry and processing, and the payroll.
Seems like it's been going smoothly to me.
I think so. What do you think, Cammie?
I think so.
Yeah, I just changed up a few things. For example, something simple, I thought was simple, was instead of having to do a search for employee name every time, if we made a list of the employee numbers, and I found that,
That was very
Speeds things
helpful.
up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
so that, I think last week we did end by noon time, we got
Yeah.
it done.
Yep.
So yay. And then I gave you a new budget to actual.
Right. We'll be looking at that shortly.
Yeah, the big thing that was questioned last time was the telephones.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if the telephones could be taken out of a separate line item. I don't know which line item you'd want to do that.
Do you need the
to.
installation or
The
the?
actual phones was $3,000 something.
Oh, the whole installation, yes.
No,
We're hoping those fees could have been offset by the savings
okay.
that were generated by installing the new phone system.
I looked at the folder on the planning, and the couple spreadsheets I saw were handwritten that it was going to be a little more than the current plan. So I didn't know the background of it, or,
I think that's a question that we should wait for when Chip's Chip gets back.
okay. So we'll do a review of that line item.
Yeah.
So most of the line items, or overall, you should be about 69% complete through the year right now.
Yeah.
And so if you want me to research anything, as you already know, the roads are the toughest thing for
Right.
every town right now.
Well, we're gonna have some time to sit down and read through this in between now and our next appointment.
Yeah, and I'll be here if you have any questions.
Should we
Okay.
have a question? Your report, I'm pretty well aware of a lot of this, of course,
Yeah.
because we've worked with you through it. And we do note, and I would note, that you're gonna be attending a lot of trainings and things coming up.
Right.
Great. This is what we need. Changes being made in the way things are done seem to be working out really well. Personally, that's the way we've always done it. Doesn't necessarily to me mean that we shouldn't make a change. Although it may work, there may be a way to make it better.
Right.
There are some things that are difficult to change, sometimes even impossible because of different rules, regulations, and state laws. But I appreciate your efforts on that behalf, and we're hoping that you're going to come back from these seminars and things even more up to date on what's going on. So.
I bumped into the treasurer in the parking lot Friday night, and right before the hail, like we both jumped into our cars when it started hailing, and I don't see a report that shows me what's in the larger account. So I asked him if he did a forecast of, this is the revenue you have, this is the balance, this is the expenditures for the rest of the year. And he said no one's ever asked for it before. So I'll probably be working with him to see the big financial picture.
Beautiful. That's what we want. Hold his feet to the fire.
Yeah, when I logged into the banking system, I was like, okay, where's the big money?
Good.
And that will allow you, if you have warrant articles that you want to use unassigned fund balance for, to have balances
Yes.
and know the big picture of the money.
There we are.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Excellent.
A really, really quick glance, and it looks like we're in decent shape, with the exception of the highway department.
Right.
There is one line that is standing out on the very last page, under other conservation, the milfoil.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we budgeted $5,000, and year-to-date expenses on that line are $24,900.
I think there might be a separate trust fund for those, so we may have coded one incorrectly in the last couple of, I call them manifests, in the last couple of,
Okay. You'll take a look into that.
I will, yeah.
That's all that jumped out to me in the 20 seconds that I skimmed through this.
Right. Well, we'll have plenty of time to look at it.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you.
On your notes, you mentioned that personnel handbooks and finance. Where do we stand with our handbook policy that we,
I think it's still being edited, it has
Yeah.
not gone to legal yet.
okay, who's editing it?
Cammy's
Me.
editing it.
Okay.
would thank our former admin assistant Kathy Pounder for all the help she's been able to give us.
Oh, she's great.
And I'm sure she's still available if we need her. She's done a good job for us. On that note, I'm going to call a recess to the meeting until our next appointees arrive.
You are back on.
All right, we're going to reconvene the meeting of Monday, September 11th, and we have an appointment with Representatives Cordelli and Pettinell and another individual whose name is
Stuart Ormsby.
Stuart Ormsby. Please, come right up, get close. I'd like to thank our representatives for coming in.
No, well, thank you
Rare
for having
occasion.
me. Busy. So for the record, I'm Katie Pettinell, State Representative for Carroll District 6, representing Tuckerborough and Wolfboro. And Representative Cordelli and I are here this morning to suggest an option to potentially decrease electricity rates for Tuckerborough residents. In 2019, SB 286 was passed to amend RSA 53E. I'm sure you know that. Allowing municipalities to develop plans for electricity aggregation. This is also known as community choice aggregation. This option can give communities more local control over their electricity sources, potentially decreasing electric rates or generating access to green energy. Massachusetts was the first state to pass CCA, Community Choice Aggregation, in 1997, and to date 10 states have enabled CCA. We have spoken with the partnership of Freedom Energy in Auburn and New Hampshire and Colonial Power Group to initiate a meeting with the Board of Selectmen to see if CCA is a good fit for Tuckerborough. So with that, I'm pleased to introduce Stuart Ormsby of Colonial Power Group for more details.
Great, thank you. Good morning, thanks for having us. I have some handouts. I'm not going to specifically read from it. I just thought I would talk, but that can be a takeaway for you for notes afterwards.
Do you have a third one?
Oh, absolutely.
Right, we don't have a full board here.
Sure. Thank you. Just a brief introduction of who I am. So, Stuart Ormsby with Colonial Power Group. As mentioned, we're partnered with Freedom Energy. Freedom Energy is a company based in Auburn, New Hampshire, who's been active in energy consulting throughout New Hampshire for a long time. And they asked Colonial Power to join them. Colonial Power, we're based out of Massachusetts, but our consulting group down there our sole focus is on municipal aggregation. And so we've been consultants for about 90 communities around Massachusetts, and we've been doing it for about 16 years. In aggregation for New Hampshire is new, and it's just starting to get underway. We're currently working with the towns of Northampton, Hampton, Londonderry, and Lincoln. And basically what the opportunity involves is it allows a town to aggregate together all of its residents and small businesses and form a buying pool. And what's important about the way that this operates, it's called an opt-out program. And so what that means is any customer that, for example, might currently be with the New Hampshire Co-op and taking supply from the co-op, they would receive a mailing and saying, unless you select to opt out of this program, you would automatically be deemed in. And why that's important is it does allow, like I said, for a large buying pool. And what the town is doing is providing an alternative to the co-op supply service or Eversource, understanding that you have some folks in town served by Eversource. Any customer who happens to have their own contract directly with the supplier, they're not mailed to, or we don't want to interfere in any contract that they've done. And the program is entirely optional. In other words, someone who wants no part of the program, they can opt out. We'll never contact them again. They might want to try it for a little while. If they don't like how it's operating, they can opt out. There's no termination fee or exit fee or anything like that. Someone who maybe is a little resistant at the get-go, but based on neighbors' experiences, it goes well, they can opt in later at any time, easily. And so there's a process involved in establishing the program. Per the statute, you have to create a plan. Plan has to meet certain statutory requirements. You hold a couple public hearings, and then it has to pass town meeting. The town has to decide this is something it wants to do.
Sure.
Yep. If voters decide, yes, we think that's a good idea, then the plan is filed with the State Utility Commission. They review it, and in a couple months, they'll approve it. And then at that point, with our assistance, now the town is free to go out to market and look for power supply. And in big reason why this has become, a lot of interest has come from this, in large part is from the very high rates that folks experienced this last fall, particularly behind Eversource and Unitil. Co-op's rates are a little bit below what those other utilities had. And so one of the benefits of a program like this is that with the help of a consultant, you're being strategic in your buying. You're looking, for opportunities in the forward market for prices to be low. And that's in contrast to how the utilities procure power, which is done largely just on a schedule. It's not terribly strategic. Now the co-op's a little different, quite honestly. They can and do make strategic purchases. Eversource, for example, they're just on a time clock. Every 6 months, the alarm clock goes off. It's time to buy. It's time to buy. And that's I'm not being negative against Eversource. It's just that's the process the Utility Commission established for them.
Sure.
Yep. So if nothing else, it provides an alternative for customers. Again, that this is an option for them to buy into if they wish. Another element that a lot of communities like about these programs, it's an opportunity to offer multiple products. If you take power supply from the New Hampshire Co-op, it's just one product, one rate. But with a program like this, you can have a product, for example, that has renewable content that just meets state requirements. You can also offer residents another option that they can opt into that maybe adds 50% renewable content, or is 100% renewable. That's attractive for certain consumers. What else can I tell you? I guess the few other highlights. This in no way interferes with any services that customers may currently get from the co-op. For example, if a customer is receiving some sort of energy assistance from the co-op, this doesn't interfere with that. If customers have solar on their rooftops, this doesn't interfere in the benefits they receive from that.
Well, this is interesting because we've just received an email from the town of Moultonborough about possibly getting together to form some kind of a coalition.
Okay.
This was attempted a few years back, and I, for the life of me, can't see that it ever went anywhere. I think it just faded away.
Okay.
But buying power as a group,
Right.
and coincidentally, here you folks are. It makes good sense, but I do have a question. Let's just say we have a community, and that power is being served by a company. The company's there to make money. The company owns the poles, the company owns the transmission lines, and the community decides it's going to buy all their power from another company. So the only way that the original company is going to make money is to up their charges for the poles and the distribution service, right?
Well, so the power, I get your question. I mean, the power supply part of what the utilities procure, including the co-op, that's more or less done as a service. Like the money, and here I'll speak about Eversource. It's a little clearer since they're investor-owned utility. Okay. Yes, they earn a return on poles and wires, all the infrastructure. The supply piece, it's just a commodity purchase for them. So they don't earn, for example, a rate of return on buying power. So it's an obligation they have as being basically the provider of last resort in the state. And so, and you can ask them, they're agnostic on this. They don't really care one or another whether they're providing the power supply or whether some alternative supplier is providing the power
They're still
supply.
getting their money. When you look at your electric bill, you've got a fee for the actual cost of the electricity.
Oh, yes.
And then you've got all the other charges that follow. All those other charges are still gonna stay the same.
Right.
It's just the cost of the electricity.
That's actually what I'm kind of getting at,
Negotiated.
so for the public's knowledge.
Yeah.
Sure, okay, yeah, so the line, like, for example, if the town were to move forward with this, customers would still get a single bill, whether it was the co-op or whether it was Eversource. The only thing that would change on that bill is that single line item. It would no longer be the co-op, it would be your aggregation.
Right.
Could I just ask, with the experience in Massachusetts, what have residents experienced in terms of their rates?
Yeah, thank you, so very good. In other words, there have been a number of sources that have sort of looked at aggregation programs throughout the Commonwealth. And so sort of on average, customers over time have experienced between 8 and 12% savings on the power supply piece of their bill. I mean, one thing to understand is, you know, as you see it in your own bills, you know, the rate you pay for power supply fluctuates. It might fluctuate every 6 months or so.
Sure.
And we've seen some dramatic fluctuations over the last year and a half. So, you know, one benefit of these aggregation programs is typically we're able to smooth things out. The experience in Massachusetts, typically programs are entering into contracts of 2 years in length or 3 years in length. And again, we're looking for opportunities when forward prices are really low and then locking in rates. So there could be, one reason I mentioned that is there could be times when by happenstance the co-op's rate dips below the program rate, but then 6 months later it comes back up, and that delta over that time is still favorable for the program.
Very interesting, and obviously, as you said, this would require a warrant article.
Yep.
But with our full board here and getting deeper into it, it's entirely possible that we would create a warrant article. It's a non-monetary warrant article,
Right.
which is much easier to work with. And people think they're not going to pull it right out of their pockets immediately. 8 to 12%, at least in my case, is a substantial savings. And then again, we've also been contacted by Molten Borough about the possibility of doing so, and that could even be bigger.
Right.
The purchasing power of more than one community together could really work out.
Yeah, and back on that point, it is a good idea to consider a couple observations that you don't have to go that way. In other words, you can buy individually. One thing that we prefer is let me take a half step back. There's a number of relatively smaller communities that we work with in Western Massachusetts, in the Berkshires and Franklin County. And the way they operate is two separate groups. They have sort of a loose collaboration where they work together and they agree they're all going to go out and purchase at the same time, but they're not all going to take the same rate. And they still what's important to them, and we really support this idea, is they want to maintain their own individual decision making. They want to receive a price that is accurate for their community.
Right.
Because one thing to be aware of is a supplier's cost to serve your town versus another town is going to be different. And so there's always the reality of some degree of cross-subsidization. So better to agree that, yep, we're all going to go out together, and the way we structure the RFPs with suppliers is the supplier understands it's a winner take all. So in other words, if they have the lowest price for all 6 towns, let's say, participating in the group, they'll win all 6 towns. And so that creates a larger buying pool. You get some advantages on price while still retaining your own individual decisions on product and getting a price that's accurate for your town.
Well, as you may be aware, we do not have a municipal electric department, which actually increases your buying power, although you pay for it by paying the electrical department. Wolfboro for years has had a much lower rate, but they do make up for it in their budget because they have to pay the electrical department.
Right.
So whether or not that actually offsets, I don't know. Where Tuftonboro, obviously, we're still plugging along, doing fairly well at it.
Yeah.
We're also looking into a big solar array
Oh, okay.
that we might put up at our transfer station at some point in time, which will help.
Yeah.
But anything we can do, and energy of any kind, if we can lower the rates and conserve is good. But yeah, this is wonderful, and I can't thank our representatives from you enough. Comment, Glenn?
I'll just mention that we are also talking to OSPI this afternoon.
Beautiful.
So are you saying we can join other towns
Oh, yeah.
to speak to you, or
Yeah.
or we should do it individually?
Well, I think probably for now at least, you know, you've got some decisions to make sort of for yourself. But if this is something that you're interested in pursuing, then I think the representatives here are interested in assisting, you know, getting towns to work together, and then we'd be happy to help in that effort.
Sure.
Yeah. Stuart, what would you say was the next step for the select board?
Well, so I guess the one step you could take is, per the statute, the next step for you to take is to form an energy aggregation committee. And by doing that, you know, you're still not making any firm commitments. I mean, this committee is tasked with, you know, continuing to explore aggregation as an option for the town. But in doing that, it does trigger some things. For example, by taking that step, now we can work with you to contact the utility companies to start collecting information that's, you know, how many customers are there, you know, how much kilowatt hours and so forth.
Oddly enough, we did have an energy committee
Okay.
formed about 4 years ago. Where that ever went, I don't know either. Never seemed to go anywhere with anything. So I think other concerns overwhelmed everyone. But yeah, and of course we're heading right into budget season, so we're going to be very busy.
Right.
But it should be fairly simple, I would think, to compile the numbers of who's doing what with whom and where and why now. And again, we have until late January or so to come up with warrant articles.
Yeah.
And it's a non-money warrant article, so it makes it a little easier.
Right. I mean, just a couple of things to keep in mind, and this is helpful to kind of work backwards from the warrant article deadline. So what, you know, by the time the warrant article is issued, a plan has to be completed.
Right.
And before the plan can be finalized, there has to be 2 public hearings in town.
Right.
So just keep that in mind timeline wise. And I've got that detailed in the handout I gave you.
Right, we'll be getting into that a little deeper
Yeah.
in between now and the
Yeah.
next meeting,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
And you would help us with that plan?
Yeah, we have a plan that we've created that has been vetted, and by that I mean the towns of Lincoln and Hampton. We've taken them all the way through the process with the commission, so the commission has seen sort of our plan and they've approved it, so that went well. And so we would leverage that for you as well.
That's very helpful.
How do you get paid for your services?
Thank you for asking. So, our fee for services, it's a component of the rate that's added to the program rate. So there's no cost for the town itself. It just comes out of the program.
No cash outlay.
If you decide to move forward. And so it's 1/10 of a penny per kilowatt hour. So if, for example, the rate you get from the supplier is 10 cents a kilowatt hour, the final rate to the customer is 10.1 cents per kilowatt hour, inclusive of our fee.
I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more of this kind of stuff nationally as well as locally. As we know, it's all driven by the almighty dollar.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's an opportunity to provide, you know, options for your customers, and if we do a good job with it, then it's options that are beneficial for your residents and small businesses.
Well, on the surface, it seems like a no-brainer. There's no financial commitment, there's no contractual commitment. People can opt in and out as they please.
Right,
At the end of the day, they just have the opportunity to save money,
right, exactly.
period.
This is really just taking off in New Hampshire because we didn't pass legislation until 3 years ago to allow it. And then the pandemic and everything else hit, so this is really just taking off now.
Yeah.
And we thought that, Katie and I thought that our towns would be interested in this.
I'm sure that anyone who's not interested in saving money has too much money, in my opinion. And it's been my experience that people that have too much money are stingier than the people that don't have any. Great. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming in, and our representatives as well. I would also extend again an invite to our representatives to show up at any time and keep us informed of what's going on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we would appreciate that.
This is a busy week for us.
Well,
in
good.
that we submit draft legislation for any bills for next year.
Right.
So we have 5 days to get all that in,
Well,
and typically about 1,000 bills are submitted annually.
well, it's nice to know that you're earning the money we give you.
Every penny of it.
Every penny of it, right?
All 100 pennies of it.
I think we earn about 1/10 of a cent.
All right.
Well, thank you for your efforts to get this moving. And
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be giving that some real consideration, no doubt.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
You
and
too.
Stay busy down there.
Is your contact information
Yeah, let me
here?
give you my card.
Yeah, we'll need
Yep.
that for sure. Or 3.
And, you work with the county also, right, at this point?
No.
So Freedom Energy has been working with the county, I believe.
The Co-op County.
Oh, co-ops,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right. And drive slowly when you leave here, because the roads are terrible. We'll be working with our representatives on that a little later.
There are hearings going on for the 10-year plan from the Department of Transportation. I'll get you a schedule for those hearings.
Just let them know that 109A is 10 years behind.
Is Representative McConkey the one to talk to about that?
His committee is involved, yes.
But otherwise we should probably talk to you
Well,
to push the ball along?
sure.
I actually have already called the DOT because I did have a complaint about the intersection of 109 and 109A because somebody's house rattles when big trucks go down the road, so he was worried about the conditions of the road. So I've already brought it up to the DOT that we need to do something to look into the road conditions
Wolfboro
around
end, I
here.
presume?
Hmm?
Wolfboro end, I presume, right?
No,
No.
not
Down
the
here?
road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. One
Excellent.
I don't think is even on that 10-year list anymore.
Probably not.
Ouch.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving into Selectmen's updates. During our recess, we've received some information and documents. I have in my hand a bid package for the work to be done on Union Wharf. And it's extensive. I'm not really sure how this is going to work out yet. I'm going to reserve judgment on what to do about this for a few minutes anyway. We also have a revised package, so to speak, police station work with alternatives trying to get us down within budget that we have. We're getting closer all the time. However, we're not there yet, but we'll save that for Chip to look at for the next meeting. And then we have a wetlands permit, which would allow us to do the work that we want to do on Union Wharf for signature. And the issue with that is that there's a signature that has to be done by the principal contractor, and we haven't yet got a contractor. So we're gonna have to save that until we award the project. And notice that Our Parks and Rec director has walked in. Do you have something for us, Dennis?
I'd like to say some things.
I think you're welcome to, please.
Come on up, good morning.
How are we doing?
Very well,
Well.
how are you?
It just to the point up at the central school where it's becoming dangerous, safety for the kids. A lot of calls from parents, principal has hounded me, the janitors have hounded me. Well, we went up there Friday. I don't know where our land starts. Is it the parking lot? I mean, I know we own the field and the playground, but where that, if you come in the one way and you're going up the ramp to go out, there's of course, a big hole there, but then it's just washed, it's pretty dangerous. There's a big gully there. The pavement is all getting chopped up. So again, is the parking lot our property or their property, number one? Number two, the trees, and I brought Zach up and he was gonna do it, but he wanted to rent lifts, and well, all these trees are coming down on the sandbox by the swings, over by the road. So you take the ones down here, the ones up above are rotten. Now if they fall, they're gonna fall right on the kids, so. I'm just, and I don't know how much I have left on my budget, and I'm sure it's gonna be a lot for us to get into that.
Well, we have a budget report.
I did send an email out to,
I have seen
okay.
those emails. We're in a strange situation. We're the only school in the district that the town actually plows the driveway for.
That's what the janitor told me, yeah.
Okay? As to the exact location of the property line now, I'd have to look at the tax map.
Yeah.
The tax collector isn't here, so I don't even know which one that would be. But I know that we do own the playground portion, the swing
Correct.
sets and all that, that's for sure. The exact line on Davis Field, that portion of it, I'm not sure of.
Yeah.
I'm sure that our little monument to Donald Davis is on town property. Okay? Other than that, I'm not sure. This is a very strange situation. And I agree with your concerns, and I'm sure we all do, that we can't have dead trees falling on the kids or even on the equipment that's
Right.
there and that kind of thing. And as far as the actual parking lot goes, again, I don't know the exact line. Offhand, I would say that the school district owns the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's just offhand.
Right.
I gotta look into it a lot deeper, which I can do, and get back to you on that. But again, we're the only ones that plow, and I don't
Right.
know that we've done any other maintenance to the driveway at the school.
No, I remember when we had that terrible rain maybe a month or so ago.
Mhm.
The janitor sent me pictures, and that was really the first time I was up there checking it out. But it's not only a gully that's could be dangerous, but right next to it is, I remember getting a fox out of there calling.
Right. Yeah, they had a
Big
fox
hole.
and some kids were living in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and that's another big
Right.
area.
Well, drainage across the exit of the driveways certainly would be within the town's
Yeah.
purview.
So it's kind of two problems, both the concrete, the paving and
Yep.
the tree thing. I did get a bid on the fence towards the road. It is kind of pushed this way, but I think we can fix that. Once it freezes, we can pull it back this way, but there's so many hangers missing, the kids could slide underneath, or, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's something we gotta really get on, and the principal was, you know, kind of not forceful, but she said, Dennis, we gotta get this fixed. I says, I'll make sure I you know, work on it, but like I said, Zach came up, he wanted to rent the lift and all this. I said, just hold on.
What did you find for numbers on that, Bob?
There's a line under Parks and Rec called Recreation Areas, which is, which was budgeted $5,000 and there's $1,667 spent out of it so far, leaving you $3,330.
The other two items that haven't been used, number one is I think there's almost 1,000 in the maintenance kit down at the beach, and also the WSI is, since she's in limited classes, I think there's a good chunk left in that too.
You have $533 left in dock maintenance,
Okay,
but I imagine you're gonna spend some of that
Yeah.
pulling stuff out
Yeah.
at the end of the season.
correct.
You know, 1,000 budgeted, 1,000 left in your trash line. I don't know what,
Yeah, that's pretty that's, stays the same, that's pretty good, but what does it say on the support staff?
Support staff, we've got $860 left,
And how about WSI?
$2,200 left.
Yeah, so that, yeah, I mean, you add them all up, you got about $6,000.
Yeah, you got some money there.
And of course, the other is the youth assistance, which we probably got $8,000.
And now, knowing, does your man think that that the lift he could use would be something he could rent from Bradley's, for
Yeah.
example? It doesn't have to be a giant 60-foot.
No, he did mention Bradley's, yeah.
All right, so that would be reasonable.
Yeah,
And if you had it for a day, I'll just say a day,
yeah.
you should be able to clean up at least dead branches, a bunch of stuff, I would think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know, and it would be a Saturday or Sunday, obviously. when
Right,
schools
in
are
those
shut.
sections. I don't have any problem with authorizing some money out of there.
No, not
It's
at
there.
all. I only want you to exercise extreme caution,
Mhm.
tapping the youth assistance line,
Yeah,
because that's part of the $16,000 that we would normally pay Wolfboro. We don't know
but I
what's
still
gonna
think
happen
we
at the
got
end
close
of
to
the year.
6, not counting that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I have no problem.
No, I'd make a motion that we allow Dennis to use some of those unspent funds to try to alleviate the problem with the dead trees.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
As far as
See
the
what you can do.
concrete, we gotta find out the line, right? As far, I mean, if it's there, the parking lot's theirs, that's their
Well,
problem.
that's pavement, yeah.
Paved,
We gotta look at that on the tax map. I'll try to do that.
okay,
Determine
Figure out where
responsibility.
that is.
yeah, I mean, it's
It's a very odd
It's gonna
situation.
get worse before it gets better, because it's cracking, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
So, all right, appreciate it, thanks, guys.
we're in the odd situation. The town was very adamant that we did not give the school district the ball field, as we called it in those days.
Right,
So we didn't. Which means now we got a bit of, it's a kind of,
right.
we're neighbors, and we gotta be nice, because that's our kids. I mean,
Yeah.
after all, they don't have anything else.
I mean, the teeter-totter was another issue, there's obviously buried a cement piece that comes up that the teeter-totter sits on.
Mhm.
Well, that whole bushing inside, was behind the shed, and Zach took it apart. We got the company that makes it, so the option was to dig that thing up. They put like padding over it, because the kid could trip on it, fall, you know, I mean, it's kind of dangerous, so. That's the other issue, I gotta just check to see how much that piece is, it shouldn't be that much to
All right.
fix.
So we didn't put a dollar amount in this,
No, we didn't.
Well, why don't I get back to you guys?
well, just, no, it would go ahead. But
Okay,
just be very, very careful, be cognizant of your
Yeah.
budget.
Right.
yeah, I mean, like you said, the lift's probably $250, and then his time
Right.
too, so. He agreed to do it, and I kinda put a halt until I got.
No, that was good.
So,
Good, yeah.
All right,
Great.
guys, thanks, I'm
Thanks for
glad I
coming in,
caught
man.
you guys, 'cause
Appreciate it.
it's been on, yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Are there, Audrey, would there be any insurance issues with a volunteer member of the Parks and Rec doing that kind of work on town property?
What's different than him putting out the docks?
I'm asking the question.
Yeah,
I can ask Primex, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay, good. I just want to ask.
Well, why don't we leave it? If you don't tell Dennis there's a problem, then there's no problem. So no news will be good news.
yeah.
I don't expect him to do anything before the weekend anyway.
As a licensed carpenter though, wouldn't he have his own insurance?
We don't have carpenter's licenses in New Hampshire.
Or whatever they are. I mean,
We don't have any.
Doesn't he have some type of,
No.
that's New Hampshire?
Plumbers and electricians are licensed.
He might have
Carpenters
some
are not.
professional liability.
He may have a liability insurance.
Parks and Rec directors are licensed.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Audrey. All right, so we're moving into Selectmen's updates here. Do you have anything for us to update?
I did, but we
Yeah.
talked about that already.
Yep.
I do have some ZBA position, people that want to serve on the ZBA,
Uh-huh.
but I don't want to talk about that until I can talk to Jackie.
All right,
And she's not here this week, so I would table that until
Okay.
next week.
She is supposed to be here tomorrow.
Okay?
supposed to be in what respect?
She can be here tomorrow. She has to wear a mask till the 16th.
All right, And that will be for the next meeting, after you talk to Jay. So, I'm going back to this bid package, and I'm still torn about it.
May I read the email?
Yes.
Please find the draft of the documents that will be used to solicit bids for the Union Wharf repair project. We can either do a bid opening at the town offices, or we can let the bidders just submit to me at Horizons electronically. Please distribute these documents for review and let me know what the town would prefer to do on the bidding. I can put the project up to bid as soon as I hear from you. My opinion is that we need to open bids publicly. So I would say that any bids that he receives, we should do right here at the table in an open meeting.
Well, yes, but he wants to know, can he put the things out to bid or not?
And that's part of it. I don't see any reason to slow it down. This is a package that he's put together and he's clearly recommending to us.
Very comprehensive. All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we authorize Mike Duffy from Horizons to put this project out to bid.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Cammy, let Mike Duffy know he can put this out to bid.
Okay.
And then if you can store this somewhere that's fairly convenient, so we have it at our disposal, that'd be great. It's super comprehensive.
I know, I just printed it.
Are there any other business we need to discuss or want to discuss?
No.
I would make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.